Good. I'm giving these remarks on behalf of my minister, who was unable to attend, so he asked me to stand in for him. And being an industry person, I'm in a very comfortable space. So good morning to you all once again. It's both an honor and a privilege to be here this morning as standing in as a guest of honor for this important conference on building resilient infrastructure for sustainable growth and regional integration. Allow me to begin by commending the Image Consortium for their consistency and for convening this gathering of policymakers, industry leaders, academics, development partners, and practitioners. By creating this platform for dialogue and collaboration, you have provided us with an opportunity to reflect, to share ideas, and to forge solutions to one of the most critical development challenges of our time. The theme for this conference could not be more appropriate. Across Ghana and Africa, resilient infrastructure is the foundation upon which sustainable growth and regional integration must be built. Our ability to transform economies, create jobs, and uplift communities depends largely on how well we build, and more importantly, on how sustainably we build. The construction and infrastructure sectors are critical pillars of development, and we cannot emphasize it more, critical. They not only provide the physical backbone, or what I call the hardware, of education, of healthcare, of housing, of commerce, and public service delivery, but also stimulate innovation, attract investment, and strengthen the resilience of our societies. At the regional level, infrastructure is the connective tissue that links our economies, our countries, facilitates trade, and fosters integration under frameworks such as the African Continental Free Trade Area, and more. Yet, we are also acutely aware of the challenges. Climate change, rapid urbanization, demographic growth, limited fiscal space present formidable obstacles. Not enough investments in the infrastructure space as well. Floods, droughts, and extreme weather events threaten lives and assets, while infrastructure deficits continue to constrain productivity and competitiveness. These realities compel us to move beyond business-as-usual approaches. To succeed, we must embrace a new paradigm of building, one that prioritizes sustainability, inclusivity, and resilience. And we must build and maintain infrastructure that withstands shocks, reduces environmental impacts, enhances social equity, and delivers long-term value for money. This requires innovation in design and construction, integration of digital technologies, and the mainstreaming of climate-smart solutions across all sectors. At the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, we are guided by this vision. Our work spans affordable housing, resilient water supply systems, which are a bit threatened these days, flood mitigation, and urban regeneration. In each of these areas, we are committed to delivering projects that are not only cost-effective and efficient, but also climate resilient and socially inclusive. Our approach underscores the fact that the true measure of infrastructure success lies not simply in what we build, but in how we build and how the users benefit from it. However, achieving this vision requires more than government's effort alone, and that's across the world is never enough. It demands a skilled workforce equipped for the 21st century challenges, strong and transparent institutions, an enabling policy and regulatory environment, and robust partnerships between the public and private sectors. Above all, it requires access to knowledge, innovation, and platforms for dialogue, such as this. And this is precisely what this conference represents. I would particularly like to encourage the young professionals present here today. This conference is not only an opportunity to learn, but also a call to action. The future of our built environment rests on your shoulders. We need your creativity, your integrity, and your boldness and innovation to help us rethink and reshape the infrastructure landscape of Ghana and the wider region. Let me take a moment to commend the organizers, sponsors, and partners of this conference. Your investment in knowledge sharing and thought leadership is a service not only to Ghana, but to Africa as a whole. It is through such platforms that we can collectively generate the ideas and partnerships necessary to overcome our infrastructure challenges. As we proceed with today's deliberations, I urge all participants to approach the discussions with a spirit of collaboration and problem solving and finding solutions and positive criticism. Let us not only identify the obstacles, but also chart pathways that align infrastructure development with sustainability and regional integration. In conclusion, let us remember that building resilient infrastructure is not simply a technical exercise, it is a moral and developmental imperative. Together, let us commit to building infrastructure that not only serves the needs of today, but also safeguards the aspirations of future generations. Let us build infrastructure that integrates our economies, uplifts our people, and sustains our environment. And let us also consciously build, and we continue to pray for peace and stability in our country. As you know, infrastructure is heavily affected during such disturbances and wars. Just one bomb dropped in Doha or in Gaza or anywhere just spoils the beauty, the effort, the money, the funding. Just one bomb or one drone attack can just make all infrastructure fizzle out in seconds. And that is something that we should be conscious of, especially when you realize how much goes into infrastructure. We're trying to rebrand rent control. It sounds too control. Rent management. So you would hear of that soon. Rent management agency authority. That will come out soon, so that it's more customer friendly. And there's also the National Rent Assistance Scheme that was done with a private partner, piloted in 6 regions by the previous government. We are reviewing it to see how successful it was. That was able to help people to pay for rent upfront. And if you're in a formal employment, it takes monthly deductions from you. At the end of the day, you would also want to encourage people to, your house is your biggest investment in life, not the car. The car can crash. Yep. The house is where you lay your head, build your family, retire, and live in peace until your maker calls you. So much as we also talk about rent issues, there's some people who will never be able to build a house. And that's also okay, because all hands are not the same. But at least we were trying to make sure that we can create that environment that for rental, you rent a bit comfortably. For building, you also be able to build a bit comfortably. We are looking at the 2 scenarios. At the next sitting of Parliament, the bill will go back to Parliament for its final journey through upgrading. And it was actually looked at last in the 8th Parliament, but it could not finish the process. So you have to usually start again. So in the next sitting, we are ready with it. We're going to push it through. Sometimes a bit of a demand and supply issue. Will a landlord who has spent money to put up a house rent for 6 months? Government necessarily cannot do this alone. And so government really be inviting private sector participation, which is already existing anyway. In the housing space, there are developers, there are people who are building their own house or property to suit themselves and all that. So there are various categories of them. But the government just has to be able to facilitate and give the right environment and enabling environment for this to be able to thrive. It is a constant battle that every successive government goes through, because the housing deficit keeps on increasing, and the housing stock that we are producing is not able to be enough. So we are trying to innovate and look at certain products that can be for the ordinary Ghanaian, and so that for those who are trying to do their own properties, we'll see what assistance they can get, because there are mortgages. There's already a mortgage system, but because of the large informal sector that we have to contend with, the meeting ground for all parties to be able to be content is still not quite there. Okay. But just want to give the assurance that we are doing what we can as a government to just try and make sure that we'll be able to. We're having discussions with some pension funds. We're having discussions with private developers. We're having discussions with district assemblies on what we can do to just make sure that we can get this discussion on housing going. Okay. At the end of the day, shelter is a basic human right. Okay. And we must be able to ensure that our people have the quality of home that they desire. What I can say is that I believe the road sector, as journalists you have followed, the big push contains a lot of road projects. And that means that there's a huge deficit of road infrastructure in the country as we speak. If it wasn't, there would not be that long list. And everybody seems to want to have it. And also the president also said that he's even moving it down to the local level, that every district will have their 10 kilometers of bitumen road. That also tells you that they are just trying to increase the quality of road network that is in the district level. Once this is done at the district level, then it means that we're also trying to create and improve on the general environment, the built environments that we have around. And so I would just, after the roads have been built, and not even after, hoping that we'll be able to have more green spaces, and maybe the district assemblies will have to be very conscious about that, so that the program from the Ministry of Lands and Forestry, which is Tree for Life, does not become just an event where we go planting trees, but district assemblies should be able to continue. We have 2 rainy seasons. Yes. So district assemblies will be able to continue with what the ministry has indicated. So ministry starts in June, and then the next rainy season, district assemblies themselves will take it up and monitor and follow it. Because if you look at Ethiopia, they had the Green Legacy Project, planting 50 billion, not million, billion trees in Ethiopia. And imagine what that would do as a country. It will really make our environmental consciousness, get us back on track. At least that is one way. So we will have our own version of it, I'm sure.
We are yet to finish our school anyway, but we do all this in Ghana.
We've been around for a while.
Yeah, we've been around for a while.
And it's good that we also keep the standards and try and improve on them as well.
Okay, we are doing that. These are like an island that has, we are yet to display the jewelries in it. This is like an island in a closet.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically the jewelry is displayed at the top.
Which is board on laminated now?
This is laminated now.
Alright. I think the edging is
yes. We are just leaving to a finishing touch up to it.
okay, so this is a 3D, this drop,
It's a 3D,
right?
yeah.
And I like the frame.
Yeah.
The joint.
Yes, actually a bit of little touch up to be made. We'll do that.
When you're sitting up in a hurry.
Yeah, you see? Thanks for coming. Yeah.
At the bottom of the world, by applying action, the dampness, of now we're in the knowledge economy. So much as we are selling a product, share the knowledge and explain why they need to do things better. Your product is there to support and to solve it, but if you could also advise them not, you can't tell someone not to build in the water block because that's